So before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So, let's get into it. Alright, so week 6 of the NFL season is coming to a close, and for the Chicago Bears, they take an embarrassing and heartbreaking loss to the Washington Commanders on Thursday Night Football. In this video, I'm just going to give you a quick little recap on what I saw during the game, give grades for defense, offense, special teams, and coaching, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video. Today, we're doing the Bears. I would have had this Bears recap up a few days ago, but I had issues during editing, but it's up now. So let's get started. I'm not going to hold y'all for too much longer. Let's get into the big elephant in the room. How did Justin Fields play on Thursday Night Football? Well, I thought he played well in the second half. He was 14 of 27 for 190 yards passing, averaged 13 yards per throw, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He took 5 sacks, and he had a 71.5 QBR rating. Justin Fields in the first half was indecisive, was taking unnecessary sacks, missing receivers, missing wide open receivers in the end zone, and generally just didn't look as comfortable as he did when they played the Vikings. However, in the second half, I felt like he made the necessary adjustments. He was more accurate, more decisive, and the Bears started moving the ball more. Unfortunately for the Bears, again, this has become a reoccurring theme for these recap videos, is that Justin Fields' supporting cast has consistently let him down this season. This is the second straight week where the Bears have had a chance to win the game on the last drive, and they've just completely stalled out, whether that due to fumbles or drop passes or penalties, you know, all that stuff that comes with having a poor supporting cast. Justin Fields did what he could. He used his legs in the second half. He showed his athleticism. He showed his poise. His toughness was great in that game, because you take 5 sacks and get hit, 12 times during the game, that you got to be some type of tough to take all that punishment and then still almost lead the Bears to a victory. But at the end of the day, they couldn't pull it off. You know, I saw things in Fields in that second half, but especially in that last drive, that showed his clutch gene, you know, showed his poise. But the Bears supporting cast, again, just let him down. But overall, I thought he played well in the second half. Let's get to rushing. Again, it's a kind of a bad thing to have your quarterback lead your team in rushing. He had 12 attempts for 88 yards. He averaged 7 yards per scramble. Again, I've tweeted this before. Justin Fields has to be nearly perfect for the Bears to have a chance to win. He is the Bears' offense at this point in time. The running backs can have off games depending on how the offensive line plays. You know, Khalil Herbert, he had 7 attempts for 75 yards. He averaged 10 yards per carry, but it wasn't all that meaningful, because every time they would get close to the end zone, they just couldn't punch it in. David Montgomery, he had 15 attempts for 67 yards and averaged 4 yards per carry. But at the same time, they weren't as impactful as those field scrambles. So, you know, it's a shame that he has to do so much for the Bears to even have a chance. And honestly, if he could play receiver, he could do that too. But, you know, rushing the ball, it was okay. But nobody really expected them to rush the ball well against that Washington front. So I'll give them a pass on that. I thought the rushing game was okay and well enough for them to win the game. But, yeah. Receiving. Let's get to receiving. Dante Pettis was the leading receiver on Thursday. He had 7 targets for 4 receptions, 84 yards, and he caught 1 touchdown pass, which was on the free play. Dante Pettis bounced back from the game in Minnesota, in which he had crucial drops, and his season so far has been disappointing. You know, it finally felt like on Thursday he remembered that he had, you know, that he can catch the ball, and he played better. He was able to get open. I still think he was put in a bad situation when he didn't catch that pass in the back of the end zone. I felt like he was interfered with. Darnell Mooney, he had 12 targets for 7 catches for 68 yards. He couldn't catch the crucial one when it mattered. But, you know, Darnell Mooney, he's our only semblance of a good receiver, I would say. He's not a wide receiver 1, but he's a talented receiver. But he's too small to be a number 1, especially in the red zone. They don't have that big target that they can go to in the red zone to be able to put up points. You know, Cole Kmet has been a non-factor, especially, you know, in the red zone. Equimemius St. Brown didn't even get a snap in receiving. So those are two big targets that you can have in the red zone. I don't know why they're not using them more. I think in terms of Cole Kmet, it's a bit of unluckiness because every time he gets a big play, it gets called back by penalty. But he still hasn't shown that he is a franchise tight end. So the Bears need a lot of help in receiving. Amir Smith-Marset had a bad game as well. The crucial drop and falling down on a jet sweep, you just can't have that. So overall, receiving was porous, especially when they need to make the plays that matter. They need some real help at that receiving spot. And, tight end, receiver, something. They need something there for Fields to be able to throw to consistently and somebody who can make those plays. Defense. Again, it was a good day for defense. They only gave up 12 points. It just seemed like when it mattered, after the Bears scored, they started to break down. Their run defense got, sloppy. The linebackers started to miss tackles. Carson Wentz cracked Roquan Smith at the goal line. And, that's for a $200 million linebacker. I don't think you want to be getting blown up by the quarterback. But other than that, I think the defense played pretty well. They held, the Commanders to 12 points. And usually when you hold a team to 12 points, you should be able to win the game. I really like how Kyler Gordon's played these last few weeks. He's bunkered down. He showed why he was drafted so high and regarded so high by the Bears with their first pick. But he's really bunkered down with his coverage. He's not making the same mistakes anymore. His tackling is phenomenal, and we haven't seen that in the corner for a while. I do want to point out that Kindle Vildor has probably been the Bears' best corner this year, other than Jalen Johnson. He's been the most improved corner. His coverage has gotten better. His tackling has gotten better. And, he's just overall, he feels like he's settled into a spot for himself. This new coaching staff has brought out the best in him. Jaquan Brisker, of course, he had a sack. He's a mini Jamal Adams to me. He's not going to get a lot of interceptions, but he's going to make those crucial tackles. He's going to play in the box. That fits well with Eddie Jackson. So I felt like the defense played well. Again, they still need help on that defensive line and that linebacking spot. But I thought they played well enough for the Bears to win the game. Let's get into special teams. Cairo Santos only had an extra point, so take that, use that as you will. But Velus Jones needs to be taken off of punt return duty, period. The muff punts, the poor technique, the constant fair catches when he doesn't need to, it's costing the Bears games, especially with the muffs. That's how the Commanders were able to score. It's time for him to be taken off of punt return duties in general. I really think he's better as a receiver. He's a receiver and kick returner. But every time he touches the ball in the offense, something good happens. So I feel like they should take him off of punt return and just put him on the regular offense. Now, for grades, I'm going to give the offense a C minus, because you score 7 points against probably one of the worst teams in the league. You're not going to win many games, especially if you're in the red zone 3 separate times. 7 points it's not going to cut it. And when they needed to make the plays, they just couldn't do it. So C minus for the offense. Defense, I'm going to give them a B plus. I felt like they played well enough for the Bears to win the game. Still need to tighten up that run defense, but that secondary has definitely improved. And when they're healthy, they're probably they're a really good unit in the NFL. That run defense needs to be fixed, and their pass rushing needs to get better. So B plus for the defense. For special teams, F because of the muff punt. Velus Jones, period, needs to be taken off of punt return. For coaching, I feel like Luke Getsy called a good enough game to be able to win. Some of the personnel decisions I wasn't too fond of, so I'll give them like a B minus. I felt like they made necessary adjustments going into the second half, but still, the constant penalties, the lack of personnel, the lack of creativity in the red zone, it's costing the Bears points. So I'm going to give them a B minus. But I felt like the coaching staff did all they could. But overall, embarrassing loss. It's heartbreaking to lose to a team like the Commanders. Hopefully they can bounce back against the Patriots on Monday night. But I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video as it helps the channel grow. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of these Bears videos. Leave your comments in the comment section. Follow me on social media. Bear down. Peace.